Welcome in. Welcome in. We're back for another exciting episode. You have Mandy and Amani on your screen.
Hi. Happy mid-June.
Yes.
There's a tax day. Today's a tax day of some sort. I don't know which one, but it's a tax day.
It's
Happy
a tax day. It is. What did you do this weekend? What made you the most happy this weekend?
Oh, Amani, we don't ever start off with that question. I love that. Thank you for asking.
Of course.
You know what made me the most happy this weekend is my husband and I didn't have any plans. We didn't make any plans. So we were available to do things as they popped up, which is very rare for us. We're a very planned out couple. And we went to the San Diego County Fair. And I love the fair. And, I felt very grateful because we both like the same things. Like we love to walk around the flower pavilion. We love the art. We love the weird dancers. We love like the animals, all the different things. So it's we're not on separate fair schedules. We're in it to win it together. And it was easy. So San Diego County Fair, if you buy a fair trip or train ticket, the fair thing is included. So it was like $20 both ways plus the fare. It was great. It was
All right.
wonderful. What about you? What made you happy?
Two things. So I learned a new recipe, making a honey lemon chicken. It turned out great.
Ooh, how'd you cook it?
I did that yesterday. You flour it, so you lightly kind of bake or grill it. It's not really fried. It's lightly floured. Then you add in some chicken stock. You add in some honey, some lemon juice, some parsley, some garlic, a few spices and herbs, and then you cook it. And then at the end, you turn off the stove, but you cover it for like 5 minutes so it gets crispier. It was really good. So I added that to my repertoire. That's number one.
Did you eat it with any sort of veggies or any accoutrement at all? What'd you do? How'd you dress that bad boy up on the side?
Yes, with some rice, jasmine rice, and peas.
Ooh, that's good.
And then I went to stream, and then I came back and went to get some yogurt for dessert. So it was good. It was good.
You love sweets. Amani's got a sweet tooth, everybody. He likes the sweets.
So I have to stay away. But yesterday was a little bit, not really a cheat day because I ate pretty healthy, actually. That would be the only thing I cheated on, really, was the yogurt. And then one of my closest friends I've known since I was 7 years old was in town with his wife and his brother. So we went out to brunch yesterday. That was fun, too.
Oh, yay. That's so fun. Did you get pancakes?
Nope. I'm saving my pancakes, my one allotment per month. I'm going to save it for later in June.
Okay. For those of you who've been listening or watching the show for 2 years now, Amani loves a stack of pancakes.
Oh, I do.
Talked about his pancakes, but this is the first time I think I registered that it's once a month. I didn't know you have a quota. I didn't realize that.
I have a quota. Yes, I have a quota.
That's fun.
It is fun. So
have you found some pancake places in Vegas now that you've got your new home?
Not that it can not that is as good as like the Pancake House place from Manhattan Beach that I love. None yet.
Okay. Well, if you're listening or you're watching and you've got pancake recommendation spots to go in Vegas, please let us
Yes.
know. We've got to
That,
get Amani back on we've got to give
all
him a list.
all the breakfast places. Actually, I love breakfast places. So yeah,
Okay.
that's my jam. Now we're gonna have a very interesting episode today. I'm quite
Yes.
excited. Got the questions ready. Why don't you introduce our guest? We'll bring her on screen. We'll give some round of applause, and then we'll get right to it.
Okay, I'm so excited about this guest. She's the founder of Dawn of the Earth. She's a somatic breathing expert. She's the Breath Initiative member with the Global Wellness Institute. She's an account manager for Elevated Meetings and just a general amazing speaker, amazing breakout leader, and an awesome human. We've got Sepideh Eivazi joining us today.
Yes, Seppi is on your screen now. We're going to give her a round of applause.
Hi, Seppi.
Hi.
Welcome.
So
Yeah,
special to be here with both of you. Thank you for the great intro and all the love. Well, Amani is wearing the shirt love. So I am entering this conversation that I would be giving and receiving a lot of love.
yes, you will be.
Aw.
Yeah.
I want to
Well,
start there with you really quick because you are the queen of setting intentions. Every time I've interacted with you, you set an intention of your speech or just of a conversation or here today. So, two-parter. Why do you believe setting intentions is so important? And what is your intention for this session today with us?
That's a beautiful question. I do practice a very intentional life. And the reason is because that I believe in awareness and living consciously. And intentional conversation, it brings people together that we just go deeper in a conversation and we're able to, besides like asking, hey, how are you? What's your name? Even in networking opportunities that we get, we go to all these receptions, it's amazing to know them and know their dog's name and cat's name and their kid's name, but there is always a deeper place for all of us that we can become connected and create deeper connections with one another. Great example of like I just finished this retreat with Caesars Entertainment, that it was a wellness retreat. And in every session that I've conducted with emotional freedom techniques and somatic breath work, I took a minute and asked everyone to connect with one another and share their intention. It creates a community, it brings people closer together. They get clarity also that why they're sitting there or why they're connecting in that space. And the level of consciousness that it creates in that platform is always so rewarding, knowing that I'm here in this space, for example, with both of you. Number one, to receive love and to give love and share my medicine and message that I've been working so hard to create this wellness platform and merge it with hospitality.
It's beautiful.
okay. Yeah, we love it. We love it. Now, my question, one of my many questions for you is if there is one herb or spice we should add to our daily routine as soon as possible, what herb should that be and why?
Ooh, yes, Samani, it's a good one.
So when it comes to herbs and spices, it's also such a personal connection with these herbs because there are some people that they have allergies. So when it comes to curating custom made tea blends, the first question I ask them, I understand, I try to learn them through conversations. All the tea that I create, it's the custom made ones. I take a time to talk to people, understand where they are, what kind of allergies they have, if they're dealing with some hormonal issues, which is very consistent when it comes to women. In general, the general public, sleeping is always one of the biggest challenges that people have. There are some herbs that helps anxiety, but again, like there are some herbs that I can say take lavender, which really helps you to calm your nerves. And I got feedback that people did not like lavender. So I would give you a few so they can pick and choose to see what really vibes with them, and it's really like helping them to connect. I use a lot of sage in my tea and when I curate the tea because sage has like cleansing property and it cleans your liver and it detoxes all these heavy metals that we carry in our bodies. In result of that, when we have a lot of heavy metals in our body, our brain feels foggy, we feel like we're not balanced. So sage is very beautiful in regards of like cleansing your body. So I merge this sage sometimes with lavender, because lavender, in one of the curation that I make, lavender helps with relaxation. So not only they can just nurture their body with some cleansing, but also they can have this incredible midday drink that it helps them to relax. And chamomile is a beautiful property when it comes to sleeping. And I use this herb that it comes actually from Iran. I work with this local farmer in Iran, and it's this is specific herb. It's designed for insomnia. So I combine that herb with chamomile. It's called lavenderia. It has like some properties that it comes from the lavender family. When I combine these two, a lot of time I get a lot of feedback from people that they've had sleeping issues, and just being able to drink the tea before they went to bed, it helped them to sleep better.
Mm.
Okay.
There you go, Monty.
Can we? Because that's one of my goals, to improve sleeping. So can we buy this lavenderia from you?
100%. I would make you a blend. Let's
Okay.
have a talk after this show.
Yeah.
Let's make
Re-
it happen.
I'm ready today. Can you send it Federal Express so I can start to sleep tomorrow? No, just kidding.
Monty's tired. He's exhausted. He needs this lavenderia stat.
Yes. Also, we got to say hello to Sarah Reuter. I hope I said your name correctly in the chat. She says, "Yay, Seppi." Why don't you? Because I know both Mandy and I are wondering. Tell us how you came up with the name Dawn of the Earth.
Dawn of the Earth was born during COVID. And my background, I'm Iranian born and raised. And when COVID happened, and as you both know, events, hospitality was going through a really hard time. And I sat like confused, lost, disappointed, scared, all of the above. And thinking to myself, do I choose to be a victim to my environment, or do I want to create something that is purposeful, eco-conscious, and can make an impact globally? So there were three things that mattered to me. So I said, what's my next? What do I know best? I grew up in Iran. I grew up around herbs and tea my entire life. And there was always a gap just moving to the States, that why the East and West are not connected. The Western medicine is amazing. East has so many wisdom and all these beautiful properties that we can introduce and help people with their health and wellness. So I decided to create Dawn of the Earth to merge East and West. So Sepideh, which is my full name, it's a name in Farsi. In English translates as dawn. And I named my company Dawn of the Earth. And my sister is an artist in France. So I called her up. I said, design a logo for me. And she designed this beautiful logo that it has like a saffron flower on top, and it has all these beautiful herbs and properties. So that's how it was born during COVID, with all these stories behind it, because I'm the whole story, because the stories inspire others to connect and feel supported. Also, the letters that I get from all these farmers for me supporting them global, they write it in their own language. Sometimes I have to find translators to just read them for me, but it's so touching and moving. I'm collecting all of them. I want to make a collage.
All right. Great.
Powerful.
Go ahead, Mandy.
Well, I want to hang here a little bit with your upbringing in Iran and coming over to the United States. So, I have a follow up already in my head of something you had mentioned before, but could you just share a little bit about how long you were there and what prompted you to come to the United States?
Thank you for this question. This is also a practice for me to open up about my journey. I moved to the States when I was 20 years old with my younger sister, who was 17 at the time. And it was a very difficult decision because we were both so young, and we were very close to our family and our friends. And that was one part of like how I lived, all these emotional attachment, all this love, and this is your life. This is all you know at the very young age. And Iranians are not very accustomed to just let their kids go when they are 18. They want to keep them forever with them. So for me, I was really struggling at the very young age, living in a country that it was extremely suppressed, and it's a male dominated society. Women, they are very limited in the choices that they make. And from the young age, I was having a very difficult and challenging time to be able to express myself. And as I got older, I really made that decision to leave because I knew that I wouldn't be able to live my true authentic self and be able to be expressive and create all these things that I always dreamed of. And I took a leap with my younger sister. We moved to Las Vegas. That was the first place
Mhm.
that we landed. And she moved to San Francisco, continued her journey with art. She lives in France now. And I stayed in Vegas and continued my life. I went to school and then I started looking for hospitality and, I entered the world of hospitality. So it's been amazing. It's been painful. It's been hard. It's been rewarding. It's been inspiring. I mean, I had to reinvent myself in a new environment. I didn't even know how to open up a bank account. I didn't
Mhm.
even know how to buy a car, like all these basics that people are born into. I had to just learn from the ground level and supporting someone who was 17 and I became a parent at the age of 20, supporting
Mhm.
her life. But now I'm 38 now. Now that I look back, I'm just so proud of myself. I mean, just the courage that I had at that age, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I love that girl because she just believed in something greater than her, and that drives me.
What an interesting time to come. So this is 2006. Did I do that fast math the right way? What an interesting time to come to the United States because we were flying high in the United States. The business was booming. And then quickly after, right, 2 years later, it crashed. But what jumped out at you as soon as you came over here as something that you didn't expect about the United States or maybe even about Vegas?
I think the biggest thing for me was community because when you're so young and you enter a new culture, not only like a different continent basically, that their lifestyle, their vision, their habits, their practices, their traditions, everything is different. But I came here with this like big dreams thinking that I would just enter college and I would start making a lot of friends and I would build my community. And that didn't happen because I moved to a place that nobody knew where Iran was. When I was telling them I'm Iranian, they were thinking that it's somewhere close to Mexico.
Mm.
They were thinking that we ride camels. There were so many
Mm.
questions that in that space I was not received. Thinking that I would enter this place because Iranians they come with a lot of hospitality. If you go to Iran and walk in the street and they know you're a foreigner, they would just treat you like a king and a queen. Like hospitality is part of the culture, no matter who you are and where you come from. So I came here with all these stigmas, so many
Mm.
labels, judgments. People watch a lot of TV, and there were like 9/11 also happened. Like the Iran was really labeled, and media was really talking negatively. And I'm not saying they weren't right or wrong. I'm just saying like there is a separation between governments and like the people that they live in these areas. And I was totally profiled to be what they were seeing and hearing on news. So I had to learn first how to be at peace with that because it was very hard. And then the next level of my growth happened when I started taking a role of like becoming an educator and communicating people with people about my stories, like our traditions, like all these amazing things that Iran has a very rich culture from many, many years ago. There's so much traditions, like all these wisdom of medicines, poetry, art, creativity, like cooking. There's so much more to all these like horrible negative things that we watch in news, and I decided to become that role model to help people to see the world differently and just learn through the culture, through all the practices that I've created for me.
That's beautiful. Okay, and Amani, I know you're gonna hate me. I just have one quick follow up. And then I'll zip it for like the rest. I promise. I promise. Amani's like, if you're just listening to the podcast, Amani's just edging his mouth towards the
Yeah.
microphone, and then I'm like intercepting it, and then he's like, "Damn you, Mandy." Okay, okay. I promise. I promise. Okay, Seppi, you talked about you had to figure out how to buy your own car, how to open a bank account, and I've seen you interviewed before where you talk about the financial wealth, the financial health of an immigrant, or you talk about feeling shame that you didn't know how to do this stuff financially. And it took you a while to be like, why would I know how to do this? Of course, I don't know how to do this. And I figure it out. So can you just share a little bit of that adventure with us of like the financial part of it and reassuring people that it's okay not to know some of this stuff. You'll figure it out along the way.
It was a very interesting journey because, I grew up in a family that my father is a perfectionist. Like, you have to know everything. You have to show up. You have to know it all. And when we wanted to move to the States, we had to write a letter to him and explain why we're choosing to move there. What's our intention? Like, who do we want to be? And, Iranian culture, you're going to be like a doctor or a lawyer. And I told him I'm going to be a lawyer because I wanted to move so badly. So that characteristic, I would say, like, it just followed me because I got that pattern and behavior from my father coming here and wanting to fit in. Basically, that's what it is. And I didn't know how to open up a bank account. I didn't know how to apply for a credit card. I didn't know which bank I need to choose. But I held everything inside because I was already struggling to be able to find friends. And I didn't want to tell them, I don't even know what bank I need to choose. So for a very long time, I suffered and I was not making healthy decisions with my finances because I was simply embarrassed to ask the questions. And as I grew, as I expanded, I've learned to I started hearing some more people talking about like books and, resources. So I started like learning about that. I remember the first one was with something Ramsey. I don't remember his first name. That he was just creating content about finances, and I was like, wow, this is great. And I was downloading everything. I think it was 2 or 3 years in. What credit card to choose, how to invest, what's your 401k. For the longest time working at MGM Resorts, I didn't understand that how 401k could have like helped me. I had mentors along the way that they were pushing me. You need to be on 401k. I had zero concept of 401k. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, why do I have to give them money? So it was a lot of shame. It was a lot of unknown and me not feeling comfortable to share. Now I feel educated more and more. I'm still taking courses about money because I learned that there are people that they're born in this country and to the system and they're still not educated and they don't know so many things about finances. And me again, like always shedding the light, learning from my own obstacles and adversity. Like I talk about it now, like whatever that I learned when it comes to finances, especially like being a business owner, there's so many ways to just be able to benefit. So I share my resources with others. That's how others start like opening up.
That's
So,
awesome.
so Dave Ramsey is who you're speaking about. That's his name.
Yeah.
Okay. When you moved to Las Vegas, besides going to school, what did you do to get educated on like being in America, the culture, and learning the language and all those things?
The first job that I got, I worked at Panda Express. And
Oh.
my English was so broken. I mean, it was good enough to just understand, but it wasn't fluent because, I learned English in Iran and the accents are different. I mean, I was traveling to the States back and forth when I was younger, but I never had to like live and just figure out life and have conversations. So the first time my manager gave me the mop, and he was like, "You need to mop the bathroom." I'm like, "I'm not gonna do that," and he was like, "You're gonna get fired." And I went to the bathroom and I started crying. Like this is how naive I was. I was so naive. And I started crying and I'm like, what did I do to my life? Why did I choose this path? Like literally, I was 6 months brand new and wanting to be elsewhere because that's why I came. So these were like humbling experiences for me to really like learning that these are like policies and procedures, there are protocols, there are customer service. Like I learned customer service in Panda Express and just learning their manual, understanding their health codes. Like every single job that I took, it just led me to a different stage of my life, my expansion. And I'm very grateful because every time I look back, I met so many people that they held my hand along the way. Like it was impossible without these people and the support that I received.
Okay, so how did you end up getting your first job with MGM? Because did you were you at Bellagio first, or were you at MGM first? You're at Bellagio
Bellagio.
first. So how did you go? I know you probably did you go from Panda Express to Bellagio, or how did you get that transition? How did you make that transition?
So I was living in this apartment complex 6 months in Panda Express, getting trained to be an assistant manager because I learned everything. And they were ready to promote me. And my manager from that apartment complex sent a letter to me and said, come to the office. And I was working a lot of the hours because I was going to pay for my school. So one of these weekends I stopped by and she said, we're looking for a apartment agent, like to be able to rent the apartments. Are you interested? And I said, yes. It was perfect because that's where I lived and that's where I could work. And I didn't have to be worried about anything. And it was like a huge change in my life. I said yes. I learned all the contracts. So that's how I got into the contract world, by the way. That was my first
Great. That's
contract.
great.
And I remember at the time there were like no Google. So I had these dictionaries that I used to take these contracts home every night and just finding all these words that I didn't know what it meant and just looking them up. And still I didn't understand because it was a lot of legal stuff and all of that things that I had to learn. Anyhow, like along that way, this woman who was my manager at the boss, she just changed my life. I worked for her for 3.5 years. She helped me to finish my education. She was my biggest support system. And I was going to school at the time, and there was this gentleman who was in my class, in my accounting class, who was the executive director of horticulture at Bellagio.
Mm.
And it was around the time economy was bad. It crashed. No one was hiring. And I really wanted, the first time I walked to Bellagio, I was with my sister and I said, I want to work here. I know I'm going to be working here. And I just knew it. So he said he was working for Bellagio for horticulture. And I had a conversation with him and I said, just hire me. Knowing that I didn't even know what horticulture meant. I
Play
had zero idea. I'm not exaggerating. They interviewed me. They asked me a bunch of questions. I answered them. And the next day, they're like, come in and get your uniform. And I'm like, uniform? And they said, yeah, you need to wear a uniform. So I went and I got the uniform and I started working in horticulture, doing the conservatory. And then I got hired to do all the watering the plants in
Yeah.
all the executive offices at Bellagio. So everybody knew me. Everyone, all these executives, they knew me. They're like, who is this girl walking around watering our plants?
It's Seppi the plant lady. Yeah. The best plant lady ever. Yeah.
Yes, that's how it led to starting working at MGM at Bellagio and knowing all these incredible people along the way. Tim Glanzer, who is like the CEO of Elevated Meetings, him and I used to talk about travels all the time. He was pretty like well diverse and we had like a lot in common. One day he called me up. He's like, I'm looking for an assistant. Are you interested to work with us? And then he hired me as his own assistant. And then I started getting promoted. And it was an amazing journey. I was the employee of the month at Bellagio. I got nominated to be employee of the year at Bellagio. I really flourished in that space because I had many mentors that they believed in me. They supported me. They were just part of my path. They made me a better human, a better leader. It was very humbling to just receive all this support.
Mm.
Great story. I mean, go ahead, Betty, because I got to think because I follow up, but go ahead.
I don't have a question. It's more just like a takeaway, I think, especially in hospitality, of like, had you not had people lift you up or mentor you or hold your hand or take you, your life could have taken so many different spins. I just think what you just said is an inspiring motivational reminder for all of us to ask that question. Like, hey, do you want to be an assistant? Hey, do you want to work in horticulture? Hey, do you want to come see what goes on in the convention services department for the day? Like, I think it's just a good reminder to ask the question and practice to lift people up, because if people wouldn't have done that for you, who knows what if it would have happened.
Yeah.
And there is so much. So the fact that these people they were willing to go outside of like what they all knew and taking the chance on me, like I always look at it like it literally put me in a place that I'm always looking for other people so I can give back to them the same way that they have given back to me. Because
Mm.
I understand the way they showed up, how it lifted me and changed my entire life. And I'm always like open for people to show up so I can hold the same space for them, because like I said, we're always better together. I really truly believe in that. I've
Mhm.
experienced that many times in my life. Like right now, my parents, they're in Iran. I don't have a family member in the country at the moment. And it's my community that I know that they're holding the space for me and just making me feel safe, knowing that if something happens to me or if I need help, or even if I want to travel with someone and just have a good time, I have my community that I can tap into and not feeling lonely.
Hmm. What inspired you to then go from MGM Grand to then go out for a smaller business? Because then you became director of global accounts at Elevated Meeting. What was your inspiration and reason for leaving?
I'm a curious learner. That's how I see myself. So doing operation and doing convention services for a while at Bellagio, I walked into Tim's office and I said, I want to go learn the other side of the business. I want to learn like what this business is all about. So I went to MGM. I started doing convention sales, and at some point along the way, I felt that I learned what I needed to learn from my leaders, from my mentors, from the business. And Tim, at the time, he was opening up Elevated Meeting Solutions. We were in communication. And end of 2000, he already started the company. And I left end of 2018, just being ready to take the leap and starting a new journey, because I wanted to have my own business. I've always envisioned this. I always knew that. And I was ready at the time. I had the contact, I've done the work, I had a great network. And yeah, I moved to Los Angeles. I left Vegas. I moved to Los Angeles. I wanted to be close to the nature, to the ocean. I just wanted to change everything again, like just reset and join Elevated. And a year after, COVID happened
Yeah.
and we had to like pivot again, and that's how Dawn of the Earth was born right after that.
Mm. All
Interesting.
right. Well, let's get to Dawn of the Earth. What is somatic breathing? Tell us all about somatic breathing.
Somatic breathing, soma means body, it's a Greek name. And the reason I got really interested to explore this concept, like I mentioned, I come from a very suppressed country, and suppression and repression, it creates trauma in your body cells. And I was really realizing that a lot of illnesses that was showing up in my body or the way I've been reacting to certain situation, I really started studying these things. And I was fascinated that how these trapped emotions can really guide you through your life without understanding that all these reactive emotions that we have is in result of like not processed emotions and trapped emotions in our body. So I took some, and I had a lot of like body movements when I was meditating, because I started doing all these work like years ago when I was in Vegas. And I had all these like shakes and body movements that I had no explanation for. And when I learned about somatic breath work, one of the biggest things they talk about is like this is a way for body to release the trapped emotions. So I took the course. It was a big commitment, and I started doing all these practices at home, like just like working through it and learning how the mind and body and soul are connected. And one day I woke up and I felt this incredible space in my body. I felt so light. I felt like everything was gone, like all this heaviness in my
Mm.
body, in different body parts. And we hold that in different areas of our body. It can be layers and layers of information. Even when you're just in your room and the mom is like having a stressful time, we're, we started at that point, like just absorbing all this information in our DNA, in our body. Some of them is not even us, it's just being transferred to us through different generations, our environment, all of that. So I was like, if this can help me with all these traumas that I experienced, and also when I was born in Iran, it was during the time, the war between Iran and Iraq.
Hmm.
A lot of fear and scarcity in that area when I was so little. You know, we were hiding in the basement. There was so much trauma in my body from that, because you're 4 years old. And how do you process that? You know, what is going on? So it was a lot of fear. It was a lot of like my body was constantly in fight, flight, or freeze to protect me. But I didn't need to be protected anymore because I was in the safe environment. So somatic breathwork was a very beautiful way to bring me back home, to connect me to my own inner medicine, to my own inner compass. And it really inspired me to share this with others. And I'm so fortunate because the level of feedback that I get through my work is just, it just moves me. It's like beyond me. It moves my heart. I really do this from the bottom of my heart. And my intention in every session is to create that breakthrough for others. But one thing I always tell them, I can't make magic if you're not open.
Hmm.
You really need to be open. You really need to wanting this so badly to make a difference in your life, and the magic happens.
Now, my follow up question to that would be, how can conscious breathing cultivate a sense of self awareness?
So the whole concept is about interrupting the automatic. If
Mm.
you notice yourself and observe yourself for like 2 hours, you're literally living on automatic. How many times you're driving from a destination and you're just sinking in your thoughts and you're like, oh shit, I got home. It's just the automatic. We're like living in a hypnosis state. We are not living consciously. We are not breathing consciously. So it's not only somatic breathing can do that, like even adding small practices in day-to-day basis can do that. Like for example, I started brushing my teeth with my left hand because I'm right-handed. So when I'm in my automatic, I'm brushing my teeth and I'm thinking about my email and call and this and that. But when I'm doing it with my left hand, I'm literally breaking the automatic in my nervous system. It requires more attention. It requires me to be present. I started adding all these little nuggets along the way. Or even like when I'm washing my face, I use cold water because cold water, it activates your senses. It just helps you to just wake up. And even cold showers, that's another one. Like every time I want to in my shower, I just stand in cold shower and I start breathing. It resets my nervous system. There's so many practices that we can incorporate that with breathing, that like we learn how to live consciously, but we need to incorporate practices and habits in our day-to-day also.
Can we take like 30 seconds? Can you put our audience and us through a super I know it won't do it justice because I've done a session with you. It won't do it justice because the sessions are an hour and they're amazing. But like, is there a little taste you can give all of us really quick, just for like 30 seconds?
Absolutely. One of the things I want to actually teach the audience for like a quick nervous system reset, which Andrew Huberman also talked about that. It's just being able to do double inhale. So you double inhale, you hold, you stay with this as long as your body can. And when you're ready, you release and let go of that air from your diaphragms all the way. So the reason this quick reset is very powerful is because that when we're putting the body from through somatic breathing, we put the body from sympathetic to parasympathetic. What does that mean? Sympathetic, when we inhale, we put a lot of oxygen in our body. And when we put the body in parasympathetic, we're able to release the trapped emotions from our body. Double inhale, it activates your brain, it brings more attention to your brain. And also, when where we are doing double inhale, the body automatic, the unconscious body thinks I have to let it go because I can't breathe. I have to let it go and I can't breathe. But the double inhale, number one, it teaches your brain and your body that you can hold more than what you think you inhaled. We have more air that we can inhale because again, when you're in shallow breathing, you inhale just a little. But when you double inhale, you're just maxing the amount of oxygen that you can enter to your body. And the more you expand on the weight and just stay with your body to wait longer, you teach your body that it's not dying. It doesn't have to protect you. It doesn't have to be scared. It's not in danger and you're safe. So we're going to do this practice together. I'm going to walk you through that. Double inhale, hold, hold, just stay with it. Eyes closed. Where in your body you feel all the tension, You feel like there's so much tension. Is it in your neck, in your shoulder, in your chest, in your hips? Release and let go. It's also being present to your body. Your body always is speaking to you. Your
Mhm.
body literally tells you where you're blocked.
I
And
Yeah.
love
then your
that.
breath shows up and clears that. I mean, this is amazing. We got to
So
do the work though. This is what I tell people. You got to do the work. It's not like one session and say nothing happened. Your people are different. They come from different backgrounds. Your body needs to feel safe in order for the body to say, "Yes, I'm open to this." Because if you've experienced multiple negative experiences that the body did not feel safe, it takes a moment for the body to trust, because the body cells, trauma stays in our body cells. The body remembers all these experiences. So first is like curating a container for the body to feel safe, and how we hold ourselves in that space. So
mm,
it's all like small steps. Consistency is so important. It's not a pill you take and the next day you're like, oh, I'm just breathing consciously. You got to practice this. I practice every day. I wake up every day. I do breath work. Every night I do breath work. I do tapping. I do different things to help my body. And to me, this is a big one. Wellness is not a trend. Wellness is not something, I'm not doing this work because I think it's cool. I'm doing this work because I'm doing it every day with intention, with consciousness, because I know this is a collective work. When I'm better for me, I'm good with me, I'm better with my neighbor, I'm better when I'm driving, I'm better with like my peers. In our hospitality, I'm not hiding my leads, I'm just sharing whatever I know, our resources. It just makes us better as a community.
What is your favorite way of practicing self-reflection? Because you
ooh.
mentioned a few things that you do. What's your favorite way?
I write every morning about 10 things that I'm grateful for, and every night about 10 things that I'm grateful for. And as much as it sounds cliche and it looks like so simple, I cannot begin to tell you how much it just shifts my energy. We're living in so much lack that I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not doing enough, I'm not being enough, I'm not important enough. I'm like so much not being enough. And when I write about the things that I'm grateful for, it just brings things in perspective. It helps me to see the bigger picture. It helps me to celebrate my small wins, because it does matter to recognize all the baby steps that we're taking to create a bigger vision and bigger image. So for me, it's like being present. Like I'm grateful for you. You two are gonna be on my journal tonight.
Ah,
You will be, because I'm really grateful. And just like looking back that, I was able to be a part of this platform, it brings gratitude to me, because it does matter. This is another way for me to share my message. And I've known both of you for a very long time, being with like my friends, like it's amazing. So just taking all these little nuggets of gratitude every single day and embodying that, because gratitude has the higher frequency. When you feel grateful, you're
mm,
not envious, you're not mean, you're not angry. Like it has the highest frequency. Just feeling that joy in your body, teach your body cells to feel that abundance and not living in so much lack. That is my biggest, being grateful.
Now, we've come to the time in the interview where now we flip the script and let you ask both Mandy and myself a question. So, what? Nothing is off limits. What question do you want to ask, and who do you want to ask a question to first? And they could be two different questions for Mandy and me. Where do you want to start first?
I wanted to ask something deeper, because you
ooh.
both know I'm pretty deep. And
Yeah.
we talked about the intention. Sarah Ruder, who's on this call, and we just launched this incredible platform. It's called Pause Movement. And it's designed for industry people. Every Monday for 20 minutes, we bring people together and basically give them the tools to have an intentional week. When we were designing this, it was a moment for me to choose the right partner, because this creation really meant something to me. And just knowing Sarah and just working through all our in our visions and alignment, it was really incredible to find your person who sees it the way that you see it. So my question for both of you, coming from that space of creation, what makes you choose one another? Like, what was the
Ah.
intention behind that, that you decided to create this incredible platform for all of us?
Mandy, you want to go first?
You go first. I feel like I always answer this one first. You go first. We'll switch it up here.
We'll switch it up. I think for me, we got along so well and we fed off each other so nicely when we did the WeCon 2022, right? It was
Yeah,
WeCon
nice one too.
2022 show for MPI Southern California. And we have a lot in common. We're authors, we're educators, we're speakers. So we had a lot in common. We fed off each other well, and it was just good energy. Just like you said, like gratitude is the highest vibration. But when we were around each other, you could just feel the good energy. So Mandy had the idea. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it out. And that's kind of my perspective in terms of why we chose each other. What would you like to add, Mandy?
Well, I love that. I think we chose each other, but I think the thing chose us too, because I think there were so many circumstances. I had never met Amani before. And all of a sudden, Amani was placed into my world, not just with MPI. There was all these other little things. Like I bumped into him at the larger MPI conference. We worked together in a speaker situation. He was the only other person in the industry I knew that wrote a book, and he wrote it before I did, or maybe we did at the same time. I don't remember, but like I saw he kept popping up for me, and I kept thinking, well, it would be silly to not get to know him more. And then, like Amani said, when we got to know each other, we do vibe off each other. We're very different people, but we both have great intentions. And I there's so much about what he does that I wanted to learn, and there's stuff that I do that he wanted to learn. So like from a creative standpoint, we do challenge each other, we lift each other, and I think, like, I want to say we brought this to each other, but I really think the thing brought us together,
I
like that
love
bigger
this answer.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. And
Okay.
you both said yes.
Yes, we did.
We did say yes. We had no idea what we were doing. I didn't, at least, and we just figured it out along the way. Yeah.
rolled
What
with
did you learn from one another?
Oh, that's good.
Let me see here. So here I'll answer that first. So what I've learned from Mandy so far, because I learn something every day, is just like in terms of business, like follow up, just how she's always good with following up with clients, just really persistent, and really how you juggle. I'm gonna say like three different legit like professions. Like you have your HBN business, your speaking business, then you like your training business. Outside of that, so that's another thing I learned. And then we're going through a process now of hiring a podcast manager. Note, if anyone out there knows a good podcast manager, please send us a message. And just Mehdi teaches me a lot in terms of negotiating, getting things clear in the contract, setting expectations up front really well. How we don't want to like half-ass anything. We want to do it like all the way. And she has a vision and like about earning revenue from the podcast, and she's committed to it. So we're taking the steps to make that happen. So those are just like 3, 4, or 5 things that I've learned.
Oh, Mani, I love that. I love how much we give to each other, because like I look from a technical standpoint. Like when we first started this, I'm like, I don't have any I don't know what to do. And Amani was like, get these headphones, get this microphone, like we've been working on my lighting along the way. We've been working at, like, if I'm like sitting here, like you can't, like just even how I'm sitting, like, what I'm wearing. Like Amani's teaching me literal live broadcasting tips. And I mean, let's be honest, I've got the gift of gab. I can interview anybody and talk with anybody, and we can relate, but like there's a lot of polishing that I need help with. And Amani has really helped me along the way with that. But that's just the technical stuff. Like the other non-technical stuff I learn from Amani all the time is he is such a good friend and a good relationship builder. And I watch him interact, like some of these guests that come on the show, they've known him for so long. They've been through war and love and life and all this stuff together. And there's so much love between him and the guests. And I value that long-term relationship. Like I learn how to build a relationship, how to build it through kindness, how to build it through patience. And I'm not as patient as I can be, and I learned patience through Amani. But I will say the best thing that I learned from Amani is how to ask great questions, because Amani is an awesome researcher. Like, he goes deep into the bowels of information and pulls out a piece of information where you're like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. But it makes for a great show. Like, and
Yeah.
so it's almost like I feel like we have a little competition of like,
Yeah.
how much research did you do? How much research did you do? And I appreciate that. I like that contest because that makes me better. I think that makes the show better. So I learn from Amani every text message, every email, every phone call. It's nonstop, but those are just some off the top of my head.
Yeah. So Seppi, we want to go back to when you're 20 years old and you've just landed to live on American soil in Las Vegas. What advice would you give 20-year-old Seppi based on everything you know now?
Everything is going to be okay.
Aw.
Yep. Everything is going to be okay. We live with so much worries every day and not thinking that it's going to be okay. And even today, I have to remind myself that everything is going to be okay. And the right people are going to show up, and the right situation is going to show up only when I'm in my consistency, in my integrity, and believing in my vision and mission. Everything else is going to work out. I'm
I love
okay.
it. I
Oh,
love
that's beautiful. What do you
it.
say to the naysayers? Like,
Yeah.
there's a collection, because like I've seen you. You've spoken to C-suite, you've spoken to women leaders, you've spoken to construction workers, police officers. Like, there's this somatic breathing, this way of living life. It doesn't exclude any age or any profession or any gender. It really is for everybody. But there are some naysayers out there. They'll be like, well, that's too woo-woo for me, or that's kind of crazy. How do you disarm that? How do you remove that stigma of like, this is too woo woo? What do you say to the people out there that are like, I don't know, that's just not my jam.
And it still also happens in our industry as I'm doing all these active, speakings and sessions. There are still so many people that they're not open to that. So the first judgment that comes to Sebi, you're so spiritual. And I always tell them, if you're not breathing, you're dead. So I don't know how that makes me spiritual, but the breath is the beginning of the life, the first breath that we take, and the last breath is the ending of our lives. And having this inner medicine within us that can just create so much value, um it's a choice also. So I've learned a couple of things. Number one, I honor people where they are. I never, like, I in the past, I think maybe I was really in the space of like convincing them that how this can change their lives. And I've moved past that. I've moved past that. I'm just creating environments that people can share their transformative experiences with others, and it just attracts more people. Again, this is a grassroots movement that I created. Like all these amazing things that you all do for me to give the voice to me so I can share my work. It's a way to communicate to others. I know there are people out there that they listen to this, they're at the right time, at the right place, that they're like, I want to try this. I want to be open to this experience. Because a lot of people are going through physical experiences also. This is not only like an emotional release, anxiety and depression and trauma. It is part of that. But a lot of people come to me and they're going through chemotherapy that they don't know how to manage that. So I just educate them. And the ones that they say no to me, as I've grown and expanded, I used to take it personally that my work is not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this, and that, and whatever. All these narratives that we have about ourselves. And I really understood that the best form of love is honoring people where they are and just keep showing up for them and sharing the message. It's going to hit them at some point. When
Mhm.
they're ready, they would just receive the message.
So Thank you. I got to shout out Sarah, who says, great question and sharing. She loves how Mandy and I compliment and value one another. And then on Facebook, Dawn Allison Ruiz say, so happy that Mandy mentioned about Amani and his relationship capacity. He has always been such a great guy ever since grade school. I've known Dawn since like middle school. So,
Oh,
So
see,
beautiful.
Dawn. Well, Monty will give you your $50 later. Look at that. It's perfect. Illustrated the point. We illustrated the point.
did. What are you saying? So, Seppi, how can we best support you, promote you, and also can you share like how you've been able to take what you're doing and you're speaking to like C-suite level people on a consistent basis? Many other speakers would want to get to that point. How you've been able to do that?
My community. The best answer is my community. Mandy is an amazing example. One of the first few opportunities that I've got, it was through Mandy. Mandy just called me and said, this opportunity that you can talk about somatic. And she just literally created that. And that was the beginning of my journey to come out and start talking about this topic. My community is my treasure. All these connections that I've had, it's not, and I'm sure Mandy can speak to that also. Even in our relationship, there's always a deeper connection. We might not talk to each other every single day. I support her work because I see her. I see her hard work. I see how she shows up in so many different platforms. So my community is my everything. And I'm very open to share my resources also. This is another way of giving back. I think it's not all about me. It's all about like building the community together, growing together. So anything that shows up, I offer my hand also because I want all of us to win together. That's my mentality.
Awesome. All right. And how can we best kind of support you moving forward? What's the best like things to share and how can we further promote you?
One of the best way to support us, I would love to invite everyone to join us every Monday, 10 a.m. PST, 1 p.m. Central Time. Sarah and I, we created this really amazing platform that we move our bodies, we breathe, we meditate. Within like 20 minutes, you get this reset. And this is a grassroots movement. We believe in our community, and hospitality is near and dear to my heart. So is Sarah. She's a corporate event planner also. And we're merging and incorporating health and wellness and events. Our main vision is to create experiences that take people in a deeper journey and adding some educational platforms that we talk about mental health. We talk about trauma. We talk about anxiety, creating that safe container. My goal is to talk more about like hormones, postmenopause, premenopause. This industry is with so many women that they're not educated. They come to me and ask for tea to help them with their hormonal issues. There's no education about that. So, pause movement is just having this incredible vision to support the industry and also help them with their mental health and just be better for our clients also. So, LinkedIn is amazing. Showing up with the pause movement. This community that we're creating is all about connections, feeling safe, share your feelings, be open. Yeah,
All right.
reach out.
And I think with that, Mandy will give you a round of applause. So well done.
Mhm.
Mandy. Yes.
Yay. Good job, Seppi.
Yes, yes. And we're going to put you back in the green room really quickly. We'll be back to you in a moment and we'll close out the show. But thanks again for just sharing such great information. Your story. I love your story. We need to hear your story more because it's really, really impactful. So thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you
Anything
for
else?
having me.
Anything else to add, Mandy?
I mean, if you're not breathing, you're dead. That's my big takeaway. So thank you, because we do need a reminder to breathe. Like even as you were talking, I was like, "Oh, I forgot to breathe." I was breathing, like we're just like
Yeah.
breathing. Yeah, if you're not breathing, you're dead. So thank you, Seppi. You are a beautiful human. What you have to offer the world is spectacular, and I'm excited to continue to see you soar. We appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
here today.
Thank you
Yeah.
both.
Yes, yes.
Right back at you.
Thank you. All right, Mandy, another great episode.
Yeah.
Who we have to look forward to next week?
We have a real firecracker again. Another firecracker. We have Jamie Sigler O'Grady, who's the founder of JPR,
Mhm.
one of the top PR firms, lifestyle and hospitality. You very likely have stayed at a hotel, went to a restaurant globally that JPR represents. and Jamie created it more than 20 years ago. So it's a huge, huge opportunity that we have her on the show. I'm excited, and I will actually be in Berlin next week on Monday. So it'll be 10 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock your time while we're doing the interview.
Wow.
So who knows what weird German things I'll be into at that point. It'll be fun for everybody. Yeah.
All right. Good. You're going
Yeah.
right in the middle of like the European Championships for soccer or football. So it's going to be pretty
Yeah.
exciting in the country because it's a big thing.
Yeah. So Italy and Croatia, my home country, Croatia, and my other family, Italy, they play each other on Monday. But I can't figure out how to make it work. So I'm sure I'll watch it because it's 9 o'clock there. So I'm sure I'll watch it with some Germans or something.
All right.
And then I'll hop on our show at 10. So it'll be you're gonna get a real fun version of Mandy. Yeah.
You're gonna get Mandy 10 o'clock p.m. after German beer, Mandy, but that's good.
That'd be fun.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure to rate, review the podcast and live stream on the platforms you're watching us on. Share with a friend, subscribe, leave us a review. And with that, we will see you all next week. And thank you for watching and listening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.